Hello, hello, welcome to the season 3 of Anime4ALL podcast. We are back after 3 months. No, 4. That was a long break. Okay, yeah, we're back with season 3 of the Anime4ALL podcast. We are
years. It's been 82 years.
Oh no. I think I never should have jumped into that time capsule. Yeah, we're back to review My Hero Academia, season 6. To all our fans that probably do watch us for Dragon Prince. I believe that's coming next month, right, Jock?
Yeah.
So we will probably, well, not probably, we will be in fact reviewing these in conjunction with each other next month. I suspect, because I know how anime works, when the breaks happen, I'm pretty sure we'll definitely be filling those in with Dragon Prince if there are any episodes for us to review when we get to those points. I say that because I'm not sure how many episodes are going to drop at once.
The first one is planned to launch like the first week of November. I think like November 2nd or something.
Oh, they're not going to drop them all at once?
I don't think so.
Okay. I mean, I thought maybe this is a Netflix thing. Okay. I mean,
Maybe they are. I don't know. I know there's at least one coming that day, though. If there's a whole bunch, like I would still spread them out myself, just out of self-discipline.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying we're gonna review all of them in one go. That's crazy talk. I know we're crazy, but we're not insane.
Too good to binge.
Huh?
They're too good to binge. I probably wouldn't even binge them. I'd probably only let myself like watch one a week.
I mean, we'll see when they finally start bleeding them out where we are.
It's an A. It's like an S tier series, so
I would say A. I wouldn't go S. I only reserve really shows that I really enjoy.
Okay, so what's an S tier of Dragon Princess in the A?
I mean, I'm gonna get. I hate for saying this, but like Dragon Ball, just because it's nostalgic. Like,
really, it's not. Dragon Ball is really A tier. Let's face it. I enjoy it. There's a lot. The sheer volume of Dragon Ball makes it have a lot of myth, but like, I remember the first time I watched it, and as nostalgic as it was, I was like, my God, I don't care what Bulma thinks right now. I want to see the fight. Like, so many times.
I mean, I overlook a lot of that, actually, if I'm being honest. So
the turtle I just want to see what happens with Frieza.
I think Super's going to end with Frieza. I started reading some of the manga. I feel like they're going to end on Frieza. I think Super's going to end on Frieza. I'm not going to say why, but something happened. I haven't read anything recently because I think they were on break. I had no idea, but I think it's going to end on Frieza.
Okay.
I think they're going to end Super with Goku killing Frieza, or something. Something's going to happen where Frieza's going to die. I think they're setting him up to be killed again.
Goku's usually not the kill the person type, but if you say so.
I was gonna say he killed him. No, he didn't. That was Trunks. I mean, well, okay, let's say this way: someone's going to kill Frieza, but yeah. I feel like they're setting him up to die again. But
it's gonna be Krillin.
Oh, good lord! If only you knew what I knew. But yeah, we're gonna review My Hero. Well, right now, no one review one episode a week for anybody new. We usually review one episode a week. Occasionally we'll have situations where we skip a week. No Google. Usually have episodes. We usually have weeks we probably skip a week and review 2 episodes at once. This is one of those weeks. Normally I would also go over our stats for the podcast, but I don't think that, well, there's none to speak of. I need to log back into that Anchor thing. I remember the website, but I haven't done it yet, considering that we haven't. This is the first episode in a couple months, so the algorithm isn't going to be tracking anything. With that, I think I'm also going to add a little section of, like, I guess, animes that either we're watching or we think are good that we want to just give a shout out. I'll start. Over the course of a couple months, I've actually I picked up Rent a Girlfriend. I watched all episodes from season 1 to season 2. It got really good. It got really good at the end of season 2, and they already confirmed it's season 3. So that's cool. I'm actually really excited for that. I know you are watching. Is It Okay to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? And I know I made you aware of season 4. I'm not sure if you were watching that or if you plan to at some point.
I'm on the offshoot series, Sort of Ratio, and I have. It's not nearly as good, and I'm kind of just watching it to watch it now. But I'm like halfway through that part, but it is really good. But it's just kind of peters out quite a bit by that point. I can also. I don't know if it counts as a real anime, but Vox Ex Machina, because it's American, but Vox Ex Machina is really fun. For anyone that's interested in like trying something new. And I've been really enjoying the actual anime Bakage no Ippo. for what it's worth. Like that's been a really, really good series. It's a boxing themed series, but like it's good, lighthearted fun and entertaining. And I've been having a nice time with that one. So I'm in the middle of that one right now. And then the other one that I'm watching is the Netflix series, and I'm Dota, DOTA. Are you familiar with that?
You mean that show based off the game?
Yeah, it turns out to be pretty good. It's a little bit dark. Dragon's Blood, DOTA, Dragon's Blood. It turned out to be a little bit dark in some points, but it has a lot of elements that are very similar to Dragon Prince in it, and it has a good feel to it. Like there's a good amount of depth to it without like being overwhelming or complicated. And I've been enjoying the characters and things like that. So I would say like it's a good binge watch. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say it's like one of the best animes of all time, but I'm certainly going to watch the rest of it.
That's good. Okay. Huh. I was surprised you actually. No, I think you told me you were watching Hajime no Ippo. I was like, I kind of it didn't interest me.
65 episodes into it.
What?
I'm like 65 episodes into it, or 45 episodes into it. It's really, it's just like, it's innocent and fun and optimistic, and the character's kind of inspirational. It's good quality animation. There's a lot of like comic relief, but there's enough serious stuff too. You like the characters are mostly likable. It's a solid anime. Like, it's my wife watches it. Like that's usually the standard for like it. She'll only watch like an anime if it's really good, and she'll watch that anime. So we've been working our way through it.
That's good. I know she doesn't watch a lot of shows unless she's watching with you, but that's good. See, I watched Rent a Girlfriend. That's pretty good. I mean, based on the name, you can say it's about rental girlfriends, but I won't go any further than that because I think I do it a disservice by saying anymore. It's not what you think though. When you really get down to it, the characters are really cool and interesting. And it's very wholesome for a show that's essentially about college prostitutes. But again,
it does sound wholesome, yeah.
Then we have I haven't gotten a chance to watch this yet because season 2 got announced sometime earlier this year. But I watched the first season years ago. The Devil's a Part-Timer. I meant to get back in season 2 because like I haven't seen it in years apparently because like it took them years to get to season 2. I don't know what happened. Suddenly there's a lot of shows that are getting like seasons years after they had their last. Dead Alive's another good show that had the exact same thing happen to it where season 1 aired, season 2 aired. There was a couple years in between there. It took several, and then season 3 got announced along with season 4. I think season 4 is either season 4 or season 5 is coming out next year. Can't wait for that. I watched that earlier this year. I think as we were watching Shaman King earlier this year. Mm-hmm. Another good show. Apparently, also is getting another show based off the children of the main characters. I guess maybe if it catches my interest, I might peek in there to see what's going on there. A couple shows that have caught my interest that I haven't gotten around to or I've watched an episode of. My stepmom's daughter is my ex. That sounds crazy. I've seen some of the characters. It seems interesting. I'm also kind of weirded out by the fact that this is the kind of thing they're going with the title, but Japan. Licorice Recoil. That is apparently a sleeper hit. A lot of people really like it. Some people probably don't. I've only watched 1 or 2 episodes. It started off really slow, and that's why it's kind of taking me some time to get back into it. It's kind of taking forever. Based on what I watched of it, it's pretty much about a world where they're using orphans to train to do assassination attempts or something like that. It's like they're using them for like war. From what I can tell from the surface, I'm pretty sure it's deeper than that, but I haven't watched any more than like maybe 1-2 episodes. Another show that's wholesome that actually I think you will like, sir. Spy X Family. This show is a true comedy. This is what I'm gonna say, and then I hope this actually gets you to watch at least a couple episodes of like the first half of season 1. But essentially the show is about I want to say it's Russia's involved, but I'm not 100% sure because I haven't seen it. Because part two of season one came out later, and I got to get back into it. But there's a spy, there's an assassin, and then there's this telepathic child as the main characters. The spy, his name is Twilight. He's been tasked with trying to stop a war from happening, and I think it's supposed to be World War III. I think he's trying to stop, or World War II. I forgot which one it was, but he's trying to stop this war from happening. So he's been tasked to infiltrate the government of the country he's in to get information he can to help out his country. In order to do this, though, he has to get inside the best school in that country. So he adopts a kid who he does not know has telepathic powers. And for the most part, never comes out that she can read people's minds. But and then he essentially has to make a family, and he has to fake being married to this assassin who he doesn't know is an assassin, but she's trying to keep day to day with like looking normal, acting normal, whatever. But she's been tasked to killing people, and as her main job. It's actually kind of funny because it's like essentially these people don't know about each other's lives, so the spy will leave the house saying, "Okay, I'm gonna go do my normal day job," and he's apparently he's either a tax auditor or he's like a it's really funny because it's like he's trying to keep up. He's trying to make sure that he's keeping this facade that he's a normal family man and stuff like that. He's got a wife and a loving kid. And there's these everyday situations where the telepathic kid is really bad at school, but she's reading this guy's mind, and he's like he keeps on thinking that maybe I should trade her in. She hears this and immediately starts acting right. It's like the weirdest sitcom you ever watched, and it's apparently got but there are other points that are really endearing. Like you actually feel bad. You see that even though this is a fake family, you can see that they're starting to care about each other in really weird ways, and they don't realize it yet. Like the little girl gets kidnapped, the assassin mother goes out of her way and starts doing these Olympic tricks all over the freaking place, scaring people half to death, threatening them with a glare. He's really like it's a really funny show. I'm not really doing it justice explaining it like that, but it's a really good show.
Okay.
It's another one of those really great hits that I think like you wouldn't expect it based on the name and based on that premise. But these characters work really well together. It's very funny. You really like them. I will say I really do like this show. It's a slow start, and I feel like it really kind of stays slow until they get to the school portion. But when they get to the school portion, when she finally gets in, things kind of start happening a little bit. I will say, even though said that the mother is an assassin, you only really ever see her kill maybe one person. And I don't know what was the point of letting you know that she was an assassin. But I feel like maybe that was just how they're gonna leave it. You mostly stay with Twilight for the most part, the government spy.
Okay.
But like he has interesting situations happen to him too. Like he has people like neighbors start wondering if he's really a family guy or he's cheating on his wife, and he has to take his fake wife and daughter out on a dinner date just to look normal. He panics a lot. It's like I gotta make sure my mission goes right because I gotta convince people that I'm a normal family man. It's funnier than I'm making it. I would say that much. I'm well aware how I'm making it. It was like it's funnier than I'm making it. Like I would give it a couple episodes, but I guess a couple other shows I can actually recommend. I watched Engaged Kiss. I haven't watched any more than maybe 1-2 episodes, but it has my interest. Government police officer with a demon girl as a partner. Take with that as you will.
Government police officer with a demon partner.
Yes.
Unironically too.
Well, it's not unironic. It's just he's literally got it. I'm not even gonna say anymore. I'm just gonna let that like.
Just
you want to
kinda
watch it. You want to watch it. A couple of cuckoos. Haven't seen watched it, but very weird premise. The girl has a fake that she has a boyfriend to prevent herself getting put into an arranged marriage. Caught my interest a little bit. Haven't watched it yet. Probably will in the future. If not, maybe not. Another show that caught my interest by the name is the maid I hired recently is mysterious. I'm interested because that's a really specific name. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, that had my interest based just physically off the name. Like nothing else is like that name. I'm like, wow, that's a long title. There's like a lot of shows. Yeah, there's those recommendations. Maybe I'll come back with some more. Last recommendation: Shikimori is not just a cutie. Gonna just recommend that one. I have not watched it, but I've seen clips and stuff like that. It's actually really wholesome in a way that you probably wouldn't expect. But yeah, with that, we're going to talk about the episodes we come here to talk which is My Hero Academia episodes, season 6, episodes 1 and 2. We'll start with episode 1. I'm gonna be honest. I thought they were gonna recap.
You would think,
and they kind of did, but not really.
No, they didn't really recap at all, honestly, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, they kind of did. They kind of just showed us what what the last episode I think was Shigaraki and the gang, as it were, showing what was going on with them there. I was shocked though. I thought the entire episode was going to be a recap. Pretty much, we go through they show us everything that happened last season, very fast, slideshow kind of like thing. Then we cut to apparently what they're going to talk about now, which was like, now we're in the nitty gritty. We're we know they're gathering heroes. We're seeing what was this? Have a look here. We see that they're gathering heroes for an impending threat. The villains are obviously like amassing in numbers. They have like Shigaraki is now the leader of the Paranormal Liberation Group, I think is the name of it. And we saw him grow.
Yeah, villain word to make it a broader revolution, which I think makes them much more dangerous. So I thought that was actually pretty important.
I'm just trying to I'm gonna scrub the episode really quick. See if anything sticks out to me. Okay, we see Hawks talking with Discount Deadpool. I couldn't think of his name.
My goodness.
That doesn't make him a bad character. That's just what he reminds me of as Deadpool. I remember saying that when he first showed up that he reminded me of Deadpool. You see the relationship between him and Hawks. We also get a chance to really just see Hawks, what he was doing in in being undercover. He was he was gathering information. We saw how he gathered all the information that he did, just hanging around twice. That's his name, Twice. He pretty much twice I kind of gave away a lot just by talking to him.
Well, I mean, would you have picked Twice of all the villains that they could have put in? Is Twice really the best one to keep an eye on a hero? I mean, if he's trying to two-time you, Twice has two personalities anyway. We know that he just talks and talks and that he thinks out loud a lot as he's trying to debate about things that he shouldn't do. Obviously you don't put her with there's other characters you wouldn't put him with, but Compression Man, for example, might have been a good choice. Someone with a little more Spinner. Maybe not even Spinner, because Spinner's kind of got his own thing going, but I would say Compression Man would have been the one I would have put in charge of him. And lucky for Hawks too, because it seems like Hawks wants to watch him the most as well. So it's very much to Hawks' benefit, which makes me wonder if maybe Hawks kind of manipulated that situation to happen.
I'm pretty sure he manipulated it to happen.
He's a person to watch him. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think that's the point. I think he wanted somebody that was going to talk.
Yeah. So I think maybe somehow he maneuvered it so that he could do that, but it's really unusual.
I mean, I just thought it was kind of funny because he's like, "You're a good guy." I was like, "Oh boy, you have no idea."
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, "Jeez." Um, yeah, but we just see what Hawks has been doing. He's been like he's been secretly getting information and then feeding it to the heroes, and we see the point in which he amassed enough information and gave it to Endeavor, which helped Endeavor feed the information necessary to the heroes to get them all ready for like the essentially the big riot or the big party that they're having at you can call it a party, but
You're gonna call it a party. That's what we're gonna call it now. It's a party.
essentially at this point. I also want to point out too, Hawks can listen to people or eavesdrop on people using the feathers on his back. There's a point when you see Hawks, when we're watching Hawks talk to Twice in the little room that he was being watched in. We see the back of his wing. We get a view of his back of his wing. I think he mentions that he's able to eavesdrop or something. Like something he's able to do something with his feathers that makes it really useful for reconnaissance.
That's pretty freaking versatile.
Yeah, it's like something is going on. Let me go back. I want to make sure because I'm pretty sure he does mention that his feathers allow him to do that, which is also really interesting. It's a very interesting ability. Like we're getting some abilities from characters that we probably didn't know they had.
Well, everybody's been the villain side has been really powering up lately. You've seen a lot of them like release like little revelations that have increased their powers. So,
Listen, he's able to gather information with the feathers on his wings. I think he attached one with Jin or Twice to he even mentions that like Twice is kind of scary with the whole, now that he's no longer, you know, inhibited by his own personal problems, he's able to use his powers at full 100%.
So he can it looks like he can essentially make indefinite members of himself.
I think he always could have. I think it was one of his abilities that he could only make a double of somebody, but himself he's able to infinitely create. He didn't do it because of the trauma that he suffered last time he did so.
Right, and also like it's really easy to forget which one of you is which. Like which one is the duplicate and which one's the real.
Oh no, this is interesting. Never getting like after we go away from like Hawks, we finally get a chance to have follow the Doctor who's been following All for One this entire time, and we do get confirmation. I mean, it was probably pretty obvious, but we got confirmation that apparently he has something to do with the manipulation of quirks and getting them into bodies and whatnot. But also, All for One was also a huge help to him in that regard. We find that later part out in episode 2, but I thought I'd just bring it up now. It's the Doctor who the very first episode we see mention the Deku that he has no quirk. I still don't buy that.
Yeah.
But we now know that, well, now we know, and we kind of already knew, but he's been doing no moves, and the heroes finally found out that he's been doing this. Some were still like hesitant, but like others were like sure that he's been the one making no moves. You see the heroes like gathering with the police. You see President Mike getting throat spray ready.
Did you say that you didn't buy that he didn't have a quirk? I'm sorry, what did you say you didn't buy?
The Doctor saying that Deku didn't have a quirk.
Oh. I would... Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
What?
For a second, my mind went to the other Doctor because I'm looking at the screen at the same time, the Doctor that they're trying to chase down. And
that was a doctor that was at Deku's examination. I remember that. Right. I remember that guy's face.
But it was a genetic thing. There's like a extra bone in your toe or something that shows that you don't have a quirk. And
I don't buy that. So think about there being an extra bone in your pinky toe. It seems too convenient to me. I'm sorry. Who knows? I mean, he's the Doctor. I'm not. But it just why? You're gonna give another reason? No, I don't have an extra bone. I don't have an extra ligament in my pinky toe. Okay, fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're a non-masker. You're like, I know better than science. I see how it is.
I just don't you know what, now I gotta do it. I gotta get to it. We're not gonna have a bike situation here.
You was flat. You think that masks are evil. You're not vaccinated. You think that you know better than the doctor in My Hero Academia.
This doctor's evil. He's been working with All for One. He's been he's been producing Nobus. He's been taking quirks out of people. He even says it.
Do you believe in vitamins?
Yes, but why does that got to do with anything?
I'm just trying to figure out how far your skepticism about basic science goes.
An extra bone in your toe that gives you superpowers. I'm sorry, this seems far-fetched.
Well, maybe he has the extra bone now that he ate the hair.
Ugh.
Maybe that was why it was so difficult for him, all that stuff he was doing, running down the road while he was growing extra toe bone and stuff like that.
Why? Okay. You see all the heroes gathering together and having a hero talk. We learned that apparently they're separating the heroes into two groups: Team Endeavor and then Team Edshot. They send Team Endeavor to the hospital where the doctor is, while they're going to send Team Edshot to the Gunga Mountain Villa. I don't think we follow Edshot too much. We see Edshot's team once, and I think after that we focus on Endeavor's team. We also find out that apparently they're using their Hero Corps students as like backup for auxiliary things like evacuating residents and whatnot.
Saying that, but I think they straight up need them. They talk repeatedly about how exceptional this class is, and to me, it looks like they need them for more than just.
I mean, right now they have them doing evacuating, but I mean, again, they're gonna be involved regardless. This is right now they're not needed.
Mm-hmm. It is weird to have like Todoroki and Bakugo and everybody like chilling in the background, but I still make sense. Can you tell me, what does that washing machine hero do? Do you remember?
I know he was a rescue hero, but I don't think we've seen his quirk.
I thought he had some sort of warp quirk or something that he used in season 1, or was that
no? That wasn't. That was 13. Guy in the spacesuit.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, warp like black hole. I mean, but I don't know like what exactly. They might have actually said what his quirk was, but I don't remember it.
Do you mind if I cheat and look it up?
I mean, sure. I can't imagine there'll be anything really spoiler worthy looking up that hero.
Susugo's hero costume resembles a washing machine with arms and legs producing from his shell, and has 2 strained eyes popping out of the lid atop his head. Hang on, I gotta look up his ability here.
Ow. Punched my headphones.
I need to know. His arms are covered by thing. He also wears large boots, blah, blah, blah. Where's his ability? Oh my god, go away, gigantic ads. I was dying to know, and I was hoping that you knew. His quirk is Clean Bubbler. It allows him to create and control soapy water from his body. The stream is strong enough to keep several people in the air. He can also use the quirk to generate large soap bottles that he uses to envelop targets and make them float. Probably the most ridiculous hero I've ever heard of, but okay.
Really?
He can make soapy water and big bubbles. That's his quirk.
I mean, they must be really strong if he's able to become I think he's a rescue hero. I think that's what his main purpose is. I had a thought, and then I got steamrolled. What that was? Oh, that's right. Apparently, some of like the students from Class A, the ones you probably wouldn't have thought that they would pair together, Kaminari and Tokiyami, are with like the front runners in Edshot. And it was kind of funny. Like I was like wondering, like he was like coming there, was like, what am I doing up here? Actually, it was yeah, because it was like you got Tokiyami, you got Kaminari, Crap. What's her name? Creati. I forgot her name. I knew her name, and I forgot it now.
Describer.
Creati, the one that can make things out of her tits. I mean, create things out of her lucid, out of her. Jeez, I can't even think. Out of her lipids. She's the one that doesn't leave much to the imagination.
Hmm? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Yagirozo. Yeah, Yagirozo. They have they have shoot, what's her name? Jiro. They got Jiro and Yagirozo, Jiro. They got those people up in the front, but they brought Kaminari and Tokiyami in. Well, you see the episode too. They go in for like an attack. One of the main reasons they said that they needed Kaminari is because he had a wide area, he had an area attack. But I was sitting like, that's not good because he lets that area attack out. He's gonna be useless. We found out. I guess we found out the real reason why they brought him in. I guess I don't really know. I'm gonna assume that's the reason they brought him in. But back to episode 1. While we're still talking about that. I said, what am I doing? I can look at it as I'm watching. Jeez. Oh wait. Oh, they brought Grape Rush. I forgot about him. I forgot they brought in
Stand up.
Huh? Oh yeah, I think that was episode 2 though. They brought in Mina Ashita, the girl with the acid quirk. They brought her in to that group too.
Oh, I didn't notice her.
Yeah, I didn't notice her either. I didn't know she was up there.
That's interesting. Good
wow,
catch.
they also brought in the Invisible Girl too. I didn't even notice her either.
I noticed Invisible Girl, but I didn't notice Acid Girl.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is interesting.
I also find it interesting too that like Mina and everybody are like, you know, the Kaminari and Tokiyami are great heroes. I thought that was interesting that, you know, somebody had faith in Kaminari. Because I thought, you know, he's been the Yamcha of the show.
Yamcha. That's so mean.
Well, he's been the Yamcha. Like, that's the worst part. It's like, I actually kind of like his abilities and whatnot. I really do. The only thing I don't like is his weakness. But I mean, hey, I guess they gotta do something with that.
What would that make like Sugar Rush? Is he just like Poir?
I would say Oolong. Just
Oolong.
I feel like Poir's more of an insult. I'm being real. I think that's more of an insult. I
feel like Poir is much more capable though.
I don't know. I just think Poir's more of an insult though.
Okay, I don't know. A literal pig is pretty insulting, but if you say so.
I don't know. Just like Poir doesn't do. I mean, Oolong doesn't do anything either. But just I feel like Poir's done less.
Mm-hmm. All right, I guess that's not unfair.
I don't know. Just like I feel like that's what I'm saying. I feel like Poir's more of an insult though. Oh, I guess I forgot about this guy. I mean, I guess you forgot about him too. Sliding Girl got caught by what's his name? Death Arms. Actually, I don't think we ever talked about this, but that's an interesting hero name. Just Death Arms.
Death Arms. Yeah, that's not too bad.
But then we go from them and go to focus on Team Endeavor's group. And we have Bakugo complaining about like, why am I here trying to being a rescue? Most of the heroes that we got Froppy, Uraraka, the guy who speaks to animals, Deku. And they're on the attack now. They're with Endeavor's one of his mini sidekicks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were running into, I guess, well, they're gonna run in and then stop somewhere in the city. But Endeavor goes inside with the other pro heroes to evacuate the hospital and go after the doctor guy. And then Mirko, the girl with the rabbit legs, jumps right on in. Or I should say hops right on in.
She's the number 5 hero, and she was fantastic. She just like destroyed everything. She fought with like an arm twisted up later on.
People really like her, from what I remember. I was wondering why they liked her, but she used her quirk to like the best of her ability.
She's got good legs. At least that. I didn't say anything about her good legs.
No, I mean, I think I'm saying enough right now. Like, she's thick.
She's got some good legs.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
Yep, yep. I would not mind getting kicked by her. I'm not a masochist. Um, apparently after they break into the hospital, like we cut away to Endeavor's children, Natsuo and Fuyumi. Um, we get a little bit of a hint that it's like Natsuo cares a little bit more about his father now, after the whole incident with Endeavor getting his eye almost cut out. By the way, apparently Endeavor still got his eye, so I don't think it nerfed him.
who lost their eye? What are you talking about?
No, like Endeavor got cut in his eye, but he didn't lose it,
Yeah,
so he didn't get nerfed at all.
not at all. But well, he still looks like a badass.
And then like the doctor, when he gets a doctor, who they believe the doctor, and then Eraserhead decides to go, I'm gonna go all Batman on you and erase your powers. I want to
So
find out apparently it was a double. I was like, jeez.
I have a question about that.
What?
Can he erase more than one power at once from a single individual?
I don't think he can. I think
Because
he mentions that he can't.
that would explain that the reason that he can't just completely neutralize Anomu. It would also explain how he was able to eliminate the doctor's regeneration ability, but not the fact that he was a duplicate in the first place. If he could only erase one quirk, maybe he would erase the regeneration, but he wasn't able to erase the fact that the guy was essentially a quirk in himself.
Well, I mean, he didn't know about the it was that was a double, so I guess he wouldn't have been able to erase that one instead of the regeneration. I feel getting rid of the double being double ability would have just like erased him altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I see what you mean. I just like I feel like he mentioned that he can't.
I think he can completely disable Anomu because I don't think he can erase. I've seen him erase like a room full of quirks from like individuals. I think he did that in season 1 or something like that, where he walked into a room and like.
Well, I mean, the main reason he couldn't like completely obliterate a Nomu is because like even though he erased the quirk, they do mention that Nomu was just really strong outright, and we do learn that apparently these Nomus are just like corpses with lots of muscle on them, ridiculous amount of muscle. That was also unique that we now know that these indeed. I mean, they said that they might have been dead, but I wasn't sure about that, considering that he talking about like these are people that they used to be people and then they got genetically modified. But we now know they're just villains who were dead, which is even weirder when I said that out loud.
We knew they were dead before, didn't we?
Hmm?
We knew that they were dead before, didn't we?
No, I don't. I was under the assumption that not all the Nomus were dead. There were just people who were alive, and you know, some of them out of like either they died after they were defeated, or because like I feel like I don't know. I was under the assumption that maybe some of them were dead and some of them weren't. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't explicitly stated that all Nomus were dead. That's why I think is I don't think it was explicitly stated that they were all Nomus were just dead corpses. Not until this episode, anyway.
They mentioned in passing in an earlier episode that like I think season 2 or something like that they looked up the identity of the original like life behind one of the Nomus and found out it was somebody that had died at one point. So I felt like we kind of like, even if we weren't told overtly, I felt I wasn't surprised to hear that, and that made me think that like it was more than just kind of like realizing something new about them, that there was actually like background knowledge involved.
I mean, I don't know. I still kind of find it a little bit shocking, a little bit, at least to me in general. I know that we a lot of times because that Nomu that they have that they still that from season 1, they didn't he's just immobile. He isn't even dead. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the person that he was made out of is dead, but he hasn't stopped moving. So I always assume that maybe it's just that these Nomus were capable. If they found a way, they could revert them to being human again. Because I honestly thought that it wasn't outright stated that they were just dead corpses. I know that like one of the Nomus they found out that was like the Nomu Shoguraki was with was their best friend. And I had assumed that maybe he was still in there somewhere, like alive, but maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe they're just saying his spirit was still in there.
You know, they have some like we're going out of order talking about it in this way, but
Yeah, I mean,
the
we can. I mean, we're not too far from the end of episode 1. I guess maybe. I guess not really much to talk about here. I mean, Eraserhead erases his regeneration quirk, and then President Mike goes all Dark Knight again. Well, not again, but it's really weird seeing President Mike get all like emotional and serious, because usually he's never serious at all.
well, he's a performer. He's got to. The show must go on, right?
I guess that's true. Well, I mean, they think that's the real doctor, and then they realize it's not. It's just a double, which is even more interesting. I forget how they even realized that it was a double.
Because it melted.
But it didn't melt yet, from what I can tell.
I mean, that's the impression I got. It melted, so they kind of knew.
I know it does melt. You also find out the doctor is also, well, here it is. The doctor's also putting more quirks into Shigaraki. I think that was insinuated last season, but I don't think he actually outright stated that's what he was doing. So, like, he's now trying to, like, make the ultimate life form out of Shigaraki.
One thing I felt, well, because the mind can only hold so many quirks, so it's like every time they gave him an extra quirk, it'd be a huge burden on the mind. Is like kind of the premise of it. But there was a certain level of forgive me for a second.
You're not forgiven. Sorry.
There was a certain level of like beauty to All for One's plan as I'm watching this, because like he traded himself for All Might, but he's really not that damaged. Like it looks like he pretty much regenerated fully from his second fight, not his first fight, but the second fight. And he's in jail, but his plan goes on mostly uninhibited. Whereas All Might is taken out of the formula, and he was like their biggest moral support. So there's a certain feeling as this goes on that you're like, wow, like you can kind of start appreciating how effective this plan is turning out to be. So I got a new appreciation for like his plan as I watched this episode, and I'm like, we can just kind of see everybody sort of struggling to hold together compared to the way they were before. And like on the good guy side, like this is almost like a last stand. Like you realize if this revolution, now that it's out in the open and they don't have to hide in the shadows, if this strike from the heroes doesn't go as well as they'd like it to, then they can kind of go uninhibited from here and just start spreading the word. It's a liberation now, you know what I mean? It's not like it's a revolution for everybody. It's not just a revolution for one character or one person or something that's involved. So they can just kind of charge forward from this point, get everybody involved that they can, and his plan works perfectly. It's a really brilliant plan. Like once I'm seeing this, because I'm like, well, without All Might here, there's really not the same force and centralization. Like Endeavor is not All Might as much as he wants to be, and he would be like one of the first ones to admit it. So there's that feeling of it, you know.
I think the no moves were like really all for One's plan. I mean, a lot of the liberation is Shigaraki stepping out on his own, something that Deku has failed to do yet. I don't know if he's gonna, but
that's what I mean. Deku's not like a good replacement from what we see right now for Shigaraki. Like Shigaraki can change the whole world right now, and he's become even more dangerous than ever. Deku is certainly growing, and you can certainly see how he could eventually become like an All Might-like character. But right now, like, he's not. And
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, I mean, Shigaraki. I mean, for right now, All For One's plan, it was just to get Shigaraki to stand on his own. And I mean, he was actually just yelling that the entire time he was fighting All Might. He literally, like you said before, I think his ultimate plan was to take All Might out, and he did that. And
right.
that allowed him to step aside, to get arrested, to allow his protege to step out on his own. And I think what All for One's kind of stated was kind of poignant is that um I'm allowing my disciple protege to step on his own and grow while you're not. All Might's still coddling Deku kind of because he has to, because Deku doesn't know ultimately what the power he's dealing with right now, and All Might didn't know. So All Might has also got to start learning about All for One, One for All as well. Wait, I'm getting them mixed up, aren't I?
Yeah,
One for All is the power. One for All is the power, but All for One's the villain. Yeah, I think I got that. I think I got that messed up. I think you understand what I was talking about. But I think, right now, like, All Might has to still coddle Deku because, he doesn't know what he's ultimately dealing with right now. All Might knows what he's done, which is like, put his greatest enemy on a kid that isn't ready to deal with the full brunt of his abilities yet.
Yeah,
and Shigaraki himself has awakened his true powers, and is going to get more based on the wording of this doctor.
right. So what we're seeing here is like really like, as much as these two episodes look like a triumphant like raid and the heroes are doing great and everything, I didn't feel like the heroes were doing great. I felt like the heroes were in a lot of trouble and that there was a certain note of desperation to what was going on here. And I felt a little bit bad for the heroes.
I guess speaking of the villains, I want to point out, did you see the amount of like stocked quirks that the basement had in his the doctor had in his basement?
Yeah, like every single one in the known universe.
I know All for One was a part of this. And I know he said it takes months for him to extract the quirk and then put it into a Nomu. I know we're talking about episode 2 at this point, but I feel like I think that's all we have right now. I mean, I guess we can look really quick before you talk about episode 2 is like, as we are looking at this wall of quirks, by the way, this massive wall of quirks. Murkrow just bashes a door in, slams the door into a tiny Nomu who I think they named Charles. I forgot the name of that thing, but smacks that tiny Nomu into the wall with the door. Murkrow's just grinning, like, "Oh, I found you." I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, you don't want to see her in a dark alley. Good lord.
I don't know, woman breaking your door down saying I found you. Like, oh dear. But yeah, it's like, geez, like she just like, and the doctor is just like terrified.
Yep. And yeah, he's terrified. He's got like, but he's also cornered. Like, not only do they sort of mention that he doesn't have an escape, but he also is cornered more like psychologically because he's like, I can't leave this place. All of my work is here. Like, there's nowhere that he can go that is okay right now. So, because he would just lose everything that he's worked towards. So he's cornered in more ways than one, it seemed like.
Also, I think Murkrow's like got like on her feet. I think she's got like a hero item. I think. I don't think it's a part of her powers. The rabbit feet more than likely, but not the steel heel and then the brace for her toes. I was actually trying to figure because in the next episode we're seeing her. I mean, granted they were lower level Nomus, and she was still kind of able to even hurt a high end and break the face off of another one. But like, I noticed if she was tearing through Nomus, and that was not something we were seeing earlier.
So what you're saying is you were looking at her boots. And
I was looking at her entire leg, but that's beside the point.
Okay, so you're just looking at the leg. I understand. It's okay, Jeremy. It's okay to be gay. It's okay.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying you gay. That's all I'm saying,
That was a chick. I mean, not dang. Mirko's a chick.
If you're just looking at her legs, you gay. That's all I'm saying. It's okay. I'm not upset or anything. It's okay to be gay. Just if you're just looking at her legs, you gay. That's all. It's not
I
a
mean, I
problem.
find her all attractive. I'm just saying that, like, right now they put a lot of emphasis on her legs. We're gonna get off this topic. This is going someplace really.
That's all I'm
But
saying.
we're gonna continue this next episode. We see, like, I will say
Take it.
she was tearing through Nomus. It was ridiculous. She's
Take a
number
beautiful.
5, by the way.
I want you to take your mind out of this situation and look at it from a third person's perspective, okay? There's a beautiful woman with stunning legs and a stunning body, right? Just don't take yourself out of the situation. And your takeaway from that was, I want to learn more about her boots.
I was
Is
just like, I
that
was trying to guess what her like if she was wearing an equip bottom. That was legitimately one of my, because there's no way, like, I mean, I don't know if it's possible if she has the leg strength to kick a Nomu in the through the head. She might be able to.
She can bulk up her legs. She's on the screen, and you're sitting there going, "Ooh, look at her boots."
You don't know what I was looking at, Jock, and I'm not gonna go any further into that. That's a trap.
I'm saying you're gay. That's all I'm saying. It's fine. You can be gay. I have no problem with it. But you a little gay. That's all.
Back to the episode. By the way, people, he's joking. Please, we don't need to. I don't need to hear you throwing fire at him. Specifically for somebody in the chat right now. Which, by the way, hey everybody who joined us in the middle of that conversation.
Hi, chat. Please don't kill me.
But Mirko, this entire episode, pretty much episode 2, is mostly about her, but we also get a chance from everybody else. I will say, like, I guess we can talk about Mirko real quick and just fanboy, but I can't believe she's number 5 on the heroes on the hero list. But
Okay.
besides her and Endeavor, no one else has been able to like hurt a Nomu. Well, besides her, Endeavor, and All Might, no, and I want to bring up too, Endeavor has to go full force and burn a Nomu to death. She tore through several with just a kick. I think she did so in a line too. It wasn't like one was killed and another one. She was tearing through them, and it was ridiculous. I was actually stunned and looking at her legs. But still,
Did you feel like it was fair though?
What?
None of these I mean, are we implying that none of these Nomus regenerate or do anything that they've the
Well, I don't think the Nomus that she killed. That's what I'm saying. That like, I mean, these Nomus were like lower level. They were always the ones she was tearing through were lower leveled, but I still don't think we should discount a lower level Nomu because I think the ones that the high ends, not the higher ends, but the high ends, the ones that like All Might fought, I think those can regenerate. I think they are given the specific, they're given the designation that the black ones can regenerate. I don't think the other ones, the lower level ones, can regenerate. Because I mean, I think they did, but then I think we would have seen.
Yeah, well, I mean, but she's fighting like prestige ones now. Like,
well, I mean, the ones that were talking, the higher ends. I mean, I know that she was able to. She says that to beat them, just gotta kick their head in. Again, I don't know what the limitation of the regeneration is. We didn't see it regenerate. I mean, when she mentioned that, they all flipped on her. There's also a woman Nomu in the mix of them, and I didn't notice until after he said it.
Yeah, but I'm guessing that's just the one with hair. I don't even know the difference. Like, why would they even point out that one of them is a female? They're just warped.
I mean, one of them actually had boobs. If you actually looked at him hard enough, I noticed that one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this time I didn't notice. I heard them say that, and I looked there, and I'm like, what? Like the one with long hair? I didn't notice no more boobs.
I'm ashamed I noticed this one. Okay, but
it's okay.
But at the same time, it's like I was kind of shocked. I mean, granted, yes, there were lower level Nomus, and she did kick the head off of one of the higher ends.
Mm-hmm.
This is also when he brings up the fact that apparently he's stuck with like turning the Nomus are only villains. So I'm guessing that was the story writer's way of saying, "Don't worry, they're not killing none of the Nomus that were killed at this point were good people."
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's a few rules like that.
I think that was the reason why they brought that up, because I feel like there was no reason to really bring it up because they were killing people. So like,
another rule in animation I noticed is you can't you can't kill an animal. Like, even if it's attacking you, you can't kill the animal. Like, you have to, like, put it down somehow. Have you ever noticed that?
I mean, real life?
In animation, you can't kill an animal. Like, the hero can never kill an animal. Like, even if they can kill villains and things like that, animals are considered an innocent bystander even if they're attacking you. And I can't think of like a mainstream series where like the hero could kill an animal and like it seemed like it was allowed by the editors and censors and stuff like that.
I mean, censors would block killing villains too. I mean, like for the most part, not every show allows the hero to kill the main character to kill a villain. I think it only ever happens by coincidence, and I feel like too anyway. Even in this show with the villains, like at least the Nomus, for instance, the ones that they're allowing to kill, because they don't kill villains in this show. But in some cases, like the Nomus, like Endeavor had to incinerate several of them. I'm guessing she had to like. Because these Nomus are persistent. I don't think they could even put one down long enough to get around it. Even like the ones that the doctor released to stop Mirko from getting to him, like they still took out Mirko's arm. That was even more disturbing. The guy that she kicked the head in is the one that twisted her arm in a pretzel, and then she realized that she couldn't like let it dangle like this, so she put a rope around it, I guess to prevent the degradation of the blood cells from getting up to her arm, I'm guessing. It's like,
were they just kind of like doing that as like, I think they're just doing that as like a stock way to show what a badass she was.
I mean, she's already a badass. She like I said before, she was tearing through Nomus even if they were lower leveled. I don't think many heroes even can claim that they can do that.
She didn't even really register that she got hurt, except to like be like, oh well, I always thought I was going to die, so I don't care that I'm going to die. But like you never really see her even register pain from that. She just kind of like smiles through it, and that's it.
I'm pretty sure she was registering pain. I think she's just running on adrenaline. I'm pretty sure once the adrenaline roll wears off, she'll probably be feeling that arm, or not feeling it.
Wow.
At least she didn't lose her legs. I mean, her most valuable weapon are her legs.
That is quite the asset that she has, isn't it?
I'll stay away from that, but yes, a very nice asset. But yeah, we learned a little bit too with the conversation with the doctor, and it's just like I will say that like I was not expecting her to be that valuable, but I hope she doesn't die.
I mean, she looks like, I mean, they're certainly implying that she's gonna die, but yeah, I don't know for sure she will.
Yeah, she even kicks like open like a glass case of a Nomu still in it, and it just dies.
I don't understand, like, I guess I do understand. I don't understand why she went out alone. Like, it doesn't seem to me like it made a lot of sense for her to do this on her own. It's a little bit aggressive for a bunny rabbit hero, but
I think she was supposed to go out there and grab the doc. I think she was just the quickest out of the heroes that they had at the time, and she was able to get to him as quickly as possible. I mean, Endeavor probably could have done it much faster and just incinerated everything in his wake, but that's probably why they didn't allow him to do it. They probably needed him to be out in the front in case a bigger, more dangerous enemy shows up. I mean, granted, they're invading the hospital. None of the generals that Shigaraki name are even in the hospital. They're all waiting. They're all like in the over where Edshot is, which is interesting. Yeah, we've seen they're dealing with a lot of like a lot of the attacks from the Nomus coming out. The hero classes were like Bakugo, Todoroki, Ida. I forgot to mention Ida is with Deku and everybody, which is kind of cool. Apparently, I guess Ida and Deku are probably the quickest because like they can get to, because the quirks are kind of based on speed. But that was kind of cool that they were using them to also get people in and out. I guess
Yeah, that was.
you got the crust guy.
I thought that was really powerful, but now that you're starting to mention their individual abilities, I'm like, yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense to put Ida in the front line in that situation. Uraraka makes a lot of sense there too when you really get down to it. So I guess they did some pretty smart choices there.
I was just kind of speaking to what's coming to mind. They got this guy who can make shields, Crust. Just don't get his name, but I mean, whatever.
Oh, Crust. Isn't it just Crust?
Yeah, his name is just Crust.
Yeah, that's all. He's like the upper crust. I didn't really say that. Don't worry. I didn't really say that. It's okay.
You said it. You just don't want to admit to it.
I don't want to admit that wasn't even a worthy dad joke at that point.
But yeah, Merc goes all ham on the doctor. Like Endeavor is like saying, "No, you gotta capture him and get out of there." No, so I'm gonna kick him first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was pretty funny. I was like, I mean, it makes sense too. You don't want to gather the wrong one. And then he's panicking, and then like, I mean, we already talked about his confrontation with the Nomus. He's panicking, that he reveals that he's got Nomus that he can like unleash on her, even though they're not ready yet. 1 minute, I gotta redeem 3 hydrates. Give me a minute.
What does redeeming hydrates mean?
Drinking water. 4 hydrates.
You're being ordered to hydrate, basically. Is that it?
Yes. No, I would not feed the holy pair. Don't worry about that one. That's not something you have to worry about.
Okay. That's apparent. That's the most apparent dad joke I've ever made. Get it? Apparent dad.
I blame myself. But I'd like to know like what the process. I mean, we'll probably find out what the process for getting a quirk out of somebody is. But I would love to know what the process for that is, because I mean, he said it takes him a while to do it. But apparently, All for One was able to speed that process up. And I'm guessing because All for One could just take a quirk out of somebody. I'm not gonna feed or quench the thirst of that holy pair. Stop it. People listening to this in the future could be like, what is he talking about? Don't worry about it. There's nothing to worry about. It's going on in the chat. If you want to get context, you have to be here live for this. But we already talked about like, I think we already gushed enough about like, or at least I gushed enough about Mirko.
Okay.
Apparently, the doctor mentions that he apparently sent Dobby out to get that higher end that attacked Endeavor, or something like the I guess Dobby didn't do what he was supposed to, which is, you know, order that high end to go back to the doctor. But I'm guessing he wanted it to do what he did there.
Yeah, they seem to be implying that it was more of a loss than we thought it was. That they lost that he lost some really good quirks with it, and it maybe had additional work to be done. I was surprised by that one too.
I mean, that Nomu was like, I think he was the most intelligent though, out of all of them. These other guys seem to be speaking in broken sentences. Yeah, but
yeah, I mean, I thought that was just expected. It's a Nomu, you know. Oh look, the Nomu's speaking in broken sentences. That's what they do.
Well, I know with that, like, Endeavor was fighting, it seemed like he was speaking complete thoughts, though. Not that these guys can't speak complete thoughts, but I'm pretty sure it's because they're mostly brains and nothing else. But, like, I like to, like, I guess I'd like to know, like, how you create these guys, like, and apparently, no, you know, All for One being in jail, like, slow down the process.
Well, he's got all those. He's got all those jars, and we know he uses science, and we know that he puts them in there, and then it takes a really long time to like infuse them with the quirk. I mean, I can't exactly go sit down and do it myself, but it sounds like it involves a tremendous amount of technology that is difficult to replace, and it involves all those jars. I mean, it seems like they've got the universe pretty well explained to me.
I mean, all I'm basically saying is like, it'd be interesting to find out like what exactly he did, or I'm pretty sure All for One was funding everything anyway, because I think All for One at this point we know he was a mobster.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut away from Murkrow's really cool fight to Mineta Great Bush saying, "I'm not going to stand up."
Yeah, because that was the most important thing for us to learn today. I don't want to stand up. You have I'm just now realizing, because I don't like him, but I'm just now realizing the extent of the comic relief of that like, isn't that like shortly after like she has her arm twisted into like a pulp and then bandages it and goes off to kick more butt without like even like wincing? And then they cut to him and he's like, I don't want to stand up. And they're like, you have to stand up. And he's like, oh. But like the comment of that is like very apparent now that I think about it. But
that's why I like him.
It's kind of awful.
I mean, his ability is to stick balls at the people. What do you want from him?
Less. Like, I don't know.
This is as little as you're gonna get from him, though. By the way, I'm just saying.
That's great. That's good.
As you can tell, my co-host does not like this character.
Not very much.
But we cut away from that, and then we have like Jiro using her ability to track sounds with her earplugs. Literally, is what those things are. We find out that essentially at this exact moment they all engaged in their targets, and we start something really interesting that I thought it was weird that I guess they're suddenly bringing this, showing this now. I'm guessing that Jiro and Kaminari have a little thing, not like a relationship. I'm guessing because they were friends from some point in the past. I'm guessing, but like it seems like Jiro is like, at least Kaminari seems to have something. I guess has an infatuation kind of with her. I guess it kind of makes sense considering that anytime that he was there, Jiro used to be beside him, making fun of him. I'm guessing that should have been obvious, but I guess I didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
She was worried about him, and then Kaminari is having this situation like, why am I here? Why do they need me? I'm useless. And then it's like, he had Tokiyami trying to like, hey, you're a good guy, man. It's like, that's not helping.
You know what I like though? That they do a little bit of like slice of life in this series sometimes. And we got to see a little bit of the characterization of Midnight. She came out in an earlier episode and gave somebody like a few words of encouragement and like a big smile too. And in this one, you see her like helping Kaminari out really significantly. And I was like, I appreciated that they kind of gave her a little moment to shine. I hope that means she's not going to die. But it was nice to see like one of the senior heroes like standing up and taking that kind of leadership role, especially her, like who it'd be easy to assume that she's not like that. You know what I mean? Because she's like the porn hero. But you see her just kind of come in and like give like a word of encouragement, and it really works on Kaminari. Kaminari is like, hey, it's going to be all right.
I mean, she is a teacher, so I mean, it's kind of like Aizawa, like when Endeavor said, "You're good, like you should be my sidekick," and then it's like now I got to look out for my lousy kids, and you see Endeavor smiling, like he knew he was going to get a no for that.
Well, I mean, he asked the show's Batman if he wanted to be a sidekick. Of course, he's going to get a no.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But,
you're not wrong.
No, but I liked that she got a moment to like have a role in this where she was like giving someone some support, as a character, not just as a teacher in the school. Like she had done it in episode 1 too, and I can't remember exactly where, but she had done the same thing where she like somebody was kind of despairing and she
Yeah,
jumped in.
it was the girl with the mushrooms.
Yeah, that's right. So you see her like stepping in and like kind of being like a helpful character, and I thought that was kind of cool. It's like, yeah, you go, you know, like way to go, girl.
I guess
So
speaking of characters, I mean, we continue, but like speaking of characters, like I like Cementos in this particular episode where you know, typically he's been shown to be this like, you know, slow going, easygoing guy. He just puts up a wall here, he puts up a wall there. For whatever reason, they decided to show him like gung ho for a hot minute and just start wrecking a building, and I'm just like, I guess that's right. As long as the thing has concrete in it, he can wreck it. Like, you know, he's very valuable when it comes to like tearing down buildings, not just building them up.
well, they're also focusing in this episode, I think, on the individual power of people's quirks. Like that, some quirks are good for different situations because you have like the people that can kind of handle mobs in this, and then you have the people that can kind of do other things. So I thought that that was kind of what they were emphasizing here, that the different heroes have like different really important quirks.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I mean, they're showing that each quirk is very powerful in their own way. I mean, I guess speaking of quirks being really powerful in their own way, we
have the intelligence guy that runs around, and we have this. We have the intelligence guy, like on the villain side, that's running around, like, and he's like their IT guy. We have Earphone Jack like spying on things. We have Hawks doing his, you know what I mean, his sort of like what would you call it?
I mean, you're talking about reconnaissance. I mean, that's kind of what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, you have Hawks doing like his like spy thing. And we have like everybody doing their own thing. So I thought it was kind of cool that he had that with her as well. That like there was this sort of, you know, this like everybody had their own use. Everybody has their own functions. Some of them are big, some of them are little, but like even something as simple as just being able to create a crap ton of mushrooms is like a potential game changer in this right now.
Yep. I mean, like, let's see here. I mean, yeah, everybody's showing really very useful. Oh yeah, his quirk was anthropomorph, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't
but I
remember
don't
what that was. Oh, I guess speaking of which, we kind of I glossed over it. Apparently, like, twice lets it slip that Shigaraki is getting stronger, and he's been doing so off the books for 4 months. I wonder like what Hawks did with that information.
Tell somebody.
I mean, probably, but I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like whoever he told is like important right now. Because I thought he would have let at least Endeavor know, but maybe not.
I don't want to rock the boat too much, but I think it's very possible that he tells somebody.
Dang it. Moving on from the sarcasm that I was just hit with.
It's more important that he found that out because now he can warn people because that guy can essentially one-shot people. So I think it's important that like they know that ahead of time because like I've been wondering about that. I'm like, what's stopping him from like one-shotting Deku? Or anybody for that matter.
I don't know if they know about Shigaraki's awakened quirk yet. I mean, they're gonna find out regardless, but
They know he's been working on it enough where they might think to give somebody a heads up, though. I don't know. The fact that Hawks knew about this now seemed really important to me. That Hawks could now like warn people.
But he went out of his way to warn Endeavor to help him get the army ready for the war. So like, I mean, like it definitely worked. It took him a little bit, but I mean, it worked.
Right.
So you know, Hawks did what he needed to do.
I think it's going to save the life of whoever that guy decides is his first target because he can one-shot somebody. He can touch the ground and then rot somebody that is touching that ground.
It's very interesting that his quirk woke up at the exact moment for him to be able to do that. Speaking of quirks, was near the ending of the episode after the attack. Well, actually, I mean, some of those attacks tears up the building. We just see like, you see the crazy schoolgirl, like wondering what's going on, and then we see Dobby looking backwards, like he's like, I'm not about to be a part of this. He's walking away, and then like the broker, whatever his name was, the guy with the anthropomorph ability, ends up like he ends up like calling in somebody who forgot his name, and the guy with a taser. And I think the most interesting thing that I took when I first saw him, that I took note of, was that he had a yellow stripe on his side of his head. I was like, well, that's intriguing. At first I thought he was like Kaminari's father, but I'm guessing there's no relation. But it's I guess to inform you that Kaminari is going to be useful for something. And again, we also see that Midnight's also reassuring Kaminari, telling him like, don't worry about it. Like, you're like, if you can't focus on protecting everybody, focus on protecting one person. And we see him look right back at Jiro, and it's like, okay, well, that was obvious.
You know where his hat is in the ring now.
Well, as the guy with the taser pretty much electric shocks himself and stores the energy to let out a giant electric attack, Kaminari apparently senses this and then hops to action. As the electric blast is being let out, it looks like it's about to attack everybody, and then all of a sudden it gets, absorbed into Kaminari. And I was like, well, that's intriguing. I don't think we ever seen him do that before. We only ever seen Kaminari let out electric blast, but I guess it would make sense that he could absorb it.
I wasn't sure how I felt about that because, like, usually he's not necessarily immune to electricity, so where's all that electricity that was going to wipe out everybody going? Like, at what point is he full of electricity and he has to, like, blow up or something? He seems pretty happy about it, like he can do this indefinitely. Like, you see the look on his face.
I don't think he can do it indefinitely, considering that one electric blast short circuits his wiring in his brain. He has to, like, rest a bit. So I'm pretty sure there's a limit.
Yeah, no, they're like, he's like, he could do this for a long time. Like, he doesn't look like he's straining even.
He probably is. I mean, like, they were doing training all the way up to this point. Who knows what, like, Kaminari unlocked in his training.
It's a Dragon Ball Z, like, not even Dragon Ball Z, it's Dragon Ball Super, like, mentality. They did training off screen, so they're fine.
Like, it could be training. It also could be he has another support weapon. I mean, that's kind of been Kaminari's shtick, is relying on support weapons to help him out, because his ability is very strong, but unfortunately, because of how strong it is, it really hammers his body. It's a really weird situation with him, where like his body. The thing is, for me, is like, I like it. The only thing I think is that maybe they're not gonna have him just charge it. Like, maybe he can't discharge it, because that's my thinking, is that he would absorb it and then completely let it go on him. But then again, I mean, it's like nothing to stop him from doing that, considering that's his ability is to create electricity. And essentially that guy was just an adult version of Kaminari, just using a taser. So I don't know. To me, it's like, for me, it's like, if I was creating this character, I would have had him discharge the attack almost as soon as he absorbed it, almost like completing a circuit, just to like shock the guy. Because I don't think that guy who used the taser is immune to electricity either. I could be completely wrong, but
it could be as simple as, like, in the next episode.
Though he could be happening too, is you also aren't taking this into consideration. Maybe he is discharging and he's discharging it to the ground, because he is standing on the ground when he's doing that. He's got his legs spread and he's got his finger pointing up in the air like a lightning rod. He is literally grounding himself.
That's fair.
I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but it's a possibility. He could just be grounding the electricity out. Like, he's acting like a lightning rod so people don't get shocked. I guess in a really interesting way, this is a character development for him, because he's been unable to protect people because his attack doesn't matter like who's in the way. If he lets the attack out, it's gonna hurt his friends. In this way, he's kind of doing what he's always wanted to do, which was to protect his friends.
There's a certain level of mastery in that he's adapting to the battlefield, like, on the fly too.
I mean, it's showing that people aren't wrong to trust him. I mean, it's like, Jiro is worrying about him, and Yairosa's over here reassuring her, that he's fine.
Yeah.
Tokiyami saying that like you're a good guy, you're gonna do this type of situation. No one ever kind of put that kind of faith in him before, and I'm pretty sure it's all the situation. Like they wouldn't trust him otherwise. But like, I'm pretty sure he's grown as a person. He's gotten better. He's realized that he needs support items. He's adapted to that situation. So like, I guess it's only a matter of time before he realizes like he'll figure out something to do with his ability, and I'm hoping he'll eventually. I'm not saying cast a thunderbolt from the sky, but I'm pretty sure he'll find a way to do an electric attack without the need of a support atom. I suspect, because he's still a high school student, So I mean, he's still got time to grow. But who knows? I don't know what the trajectory of this character's development is going to take. If this is the bottom, and we're just here. But I don't know. What?
I like it. I like where it went.
Yeah, I like that he did that. He's able to like they weren't suspecting them to have a lightning rod at the ready to take care of that. So like clearly, I guess Hawks must have let somebody know about him. So like I guess that's why they brought him up there. But it makes me wonder what Tokiyama is there for. Is there a specific villain that he can take care of? Because it seems like Commodore was there specifically for him. But who really knows?
I think we've missed over, and I'm trying to find the exact time signature in episode 2 where it is. The Doctor's final creation that's still in the tube and hasn't been let out yet. What did you think of that thing?
It looked like Shigaraki.
It did, didn't it?
I think it was Shigaraki. That's what I'm saying. I think he's putting quirks into Shigaraki. I think he's trying to make a Nomu out of Shigaraki.
I didn't think that was Shigaraki. What I thought that was not Todoroki. Is it Todoroki?
No, that wasn't Dabi.
He's Todoroki's brother.
That's not Dabi.
Do we know for a fact that Dabi's his brother?
I'm gonna assume that he's his brother. That's all the way I stated.
There's something about the hair. I'm trying to find the exact time signature, but there was something about the hair there that made me think that there was more going on than just that.
I mean, Shigaraki's hair is white too, man. And All For One is like hairless and in jail.
Let's see if I can find it now, but I thought that was a pretty big deal. Let's see, numbers are being created, blah, blah, blah. So then Shigaraki and I have lost our means of escape. So you're right, it is Shigaraki. He says Shigaraki and I have lost our means of escape. And then the guy in there, yeah, you're right, it's absolutely, but it's weird because the face isn't all twisted. In the picture, like in the shot, it's around 12 minutes and like 12 seconds or so. 12:10. The shot begins at 12:10, but if you look at him, he looks so unscarred, and like his mouth doesn't have that zombie mouth that like they usually portray him as having.
Probably just the animation, if to be real. On top of that, maybe it's all part of the genetic alteration type of situation. Maybe he put into Shigaraki.
But that would mean like, remember when they neutralized the Doctor's anti-aging quirk?
Mm-hmm.
So I bet they've neutralized whatever quirk had mauled his face. So I bet that
was the decaying quirk. But he should still have the decaying quirk.
Something that's like neutralized it. Although I can still see some lines around his mouth now that I look closely, so maybe I'm wrong. I do see the eye lines on the eyes. Okay, so closer inspection, I can still see the stuff. It's just not wonderfully animated.
And whatever he's doing to Shigaraki, I'm gonna assume he's jamming quirks into him, considering that's what the Doctor's MO is this entire show. Just taking quirks out and then stuffing it into a jar. So I can only assume that he's using.
Big old jar of quirks. That's what we got here, folks.
I feel he's stuffing Shigaraki with quirks specifically. I'm guessing. But yeah, I mean the episode ends. Episode 2 ends with with Kaminari being cool and you know drawing in the electric. Again, we won't know exactly what he actually is doing there until episode 3 comes out. So I mean, they cut out as he's doing that, and he looks like he's happy. I suspect though something goofy is gonna happen to him in the next episode. It'd be really cool if someone he could store that charge in his own body and it just boost his ability somehow. It wouldn't be too out of the ordinary for his quirk to do that to him.
No, it wouldn't. He even has support items that would suggest that he could do something like that. He had developed some in one of the series that like kind of gave it that feel that like he could do it.
I'm still kind of curious about why they brought Tokiyami out there, which I guess that means the other guy they called must be going to be what Tokiyami's going to fight. But I guess we won't see him just yet, or her, whoever it is that he called, because he didn't only just call that electric guy, he called somebody else as well. But they didn't show up in time for like Cementos completely wrecked the place.
It seems like, I mean, in the preview for the next episode, it's pretty clear that Hawks is going to be central to the story and his relationship with Twice. Twice is interesting because he's like one of the least evil, I think, of the villains. Like he's one of the most redeemable ones, in my opinion.
I don't think he's evil. I just think he's like
confused.
Not confused. I think he's probably the most anti villain of the entire group. Probably, and like I said, it goes with the whole idea that he's not evil.
He's redeemable.
Are they gonna kill him?
Hawks or
not Hawks? Twice.
I mean, they could. I can't see Hawks because Hawks would have to murder him, and I just can't see that happening.
Well, it doesn't mean that Hawks has to kill him. Something else could happen where he dies. I mean, yeah. Twice values friendship, and he seems like he struck up a huge friendship with Hawks.
Right, but Hawks is the only one around. There's a few people that were broken off in the main group. Hawks is broken off in the main group. The one guy that captures the hero that is actually in the league, the guy that floats, whatever his name was. Slider or whatever.
Oh, Slide and Go?
Slide and Go, yeah, because Slide and Go was the worm or the mole. And you see him get captured. So they send one hero to get Slide and Go. They send Hawks out to the corner Twice. And then I think everybody else is on one of the other two teams, but they have, I mean, he's broken away. He's not part of the main group. So and then the rabbit hero obviously is broken away from the group too. So those three kind of have their own separate sets of stories, but they don't really have anyone backing them up.
I guess, I mean, we'll have to figure out what they're going to do, because like right now we do have separate stories going on. Definitely separate fights. Deku hasn't gotten in the fray, neither has Bakugo or even Todoroki, so there's still like a lot of characters that need to get involved directly, even though they're not. If we know My Hero Academia, they're gonna somehow get Deku involved in saving somebody that's gonna get him put directly into danger. I wonder if we're gonna see we're gonna see Shigaraki come out and emerge from the liquid pool, and he's gonna see Deku, and he's just gonna teleport right in front of him. They would do that. He's like, "You're not a hero," and then just slaps him and sends him flying.
Right.
But I guess with that, we can end the podcast here with a review. This is a few episodes. I think it was kind of a solid start to season 6. I mean, we still gotta heal the climb. But I think we got a good start. I think it's gonna get it can't go anywhere but up from here. I could be wrong, but I hope I'm
Are
not.
you still talking about that rabbit hero?
No.
You said it can't go anywhere but up from here.
Yeah, that's not a hopping joke though.
I wasn't talking about hopping. I was talking about something else, but never mind.
Why are you like this?
I,
Why?
it's not a choice. I mean, it's just in my genes, I guess.
Stop letting it be in your genes, man.
Everything is going up, and it's in my genes. I can't tell you what to do. But
We're gonna end this. We're gonna end up the podcast here. Thank you guys for watching. Well, actually listening. And we'll come back to you next week. See you guys then. Bye.
bye, guys.